By curious coincidence, London's thoroughfares of business remained relatively unscathed by the bombing of 1940. The Bank of England and the stock market seemed to have been protected by the ancient deities of the city. The destruction was largely visited upon the historical and religious areas of the city. The whole of Paternoster Row went up in flames, destroying the premises of 30 publishers and burning 5 million books in one night. 19 churches were destroyed, 16 of them built by Christopher Wren after the last Great Fire. Virginia Woolf's home in Bloomsbury was destroyed by bombing in October 1940. She wandered around the ruins of the rooms where she had written so many books. Now all turned to rubble. 6 months later, she drowned herself. Through every conflagration, the city has remained surprisingly stable. One of Winston Churchill's wartime phrases was "business as usual," and no slogan could be better adapted to the eternal condition of London. London's ability to restore itself was a source of consolation to the poet Stephen Spender.
As I walked, I had a comforting sense of the sure, dark immensity of London, like a warren containing a scattered breeding life, concealed in the ragged, dilapidated streets of Kilburn and Maida Vale. They could be destroyed at one place, but then the wound sealed off would flow through other channels and streets and tunnels.
Over 300 years earlier, the city's extraordinary spirit of renewal had also been revealed to Christopher Wren, as he began work on his great masterpiece.
After the Great Fire of 1666, I was asked to build a great cathedral in place of old St. Paul's. In the beginning of the new works, an incident was noted by some people as a memorable omen. I drew a circle for the great dome and sent a workman for a flat stone from among the heaps of rubbish to mark the exact centre on the ground. He returned immediately with the fragment of an ancient gravestone, with nothing remaining of the encryption but one single word in large capitals: Resurgam, I will arise.
The promise of renewal and reconstruction is burned into London's stones. After the first night of the Blitz, the ancient spirit of the city revealed itself again. As in the Great Fire, there were unexpected discoveries and rebirths. This section of the Roman wall by Cripplegate, hidden for hundreds of years, was uncovered by the first bombs that fell on the city in August 1940. The invisible life and strength of London emerged from the devastation. The city's spirit of survival even finds expression in nature. This London plane tree grows on a piece of ground which was once a churchyard. The Church of St. Peter's was destroyed by the Great Fire and never rebuilt. This small open space in one of the most densely built-up areas of the city has been preserved ever since. During the Blitz, the buildings on both sides of Wood Street were destroyed. Yet the tree miraculously survived, and became an emblem of the city itself. It has risen to a height of over 80 feet and is still thriving. In 1401, some shops were built against the old churchyard wall. They were rebuilt after the Great Fire. This row of shops has stood here ever since. The site is only a few feet in depth, and each small shop consists of a single story above and the shop front below. There have been silver sellers, wig makers, law stationers, pickle sellers and gown makers, all of them reflecting the changing commercial life of the capital. Today, there's a sandwich bar, a newsagent and a mobile phone shop. Such lines of continuity, some of great antiquity, are found everywhere in London. The streets and houses emerge as a matter of instinct, deriving from some ancient imperative, as if they were the cells that cluster in a human body. After the Second World War, attempts were made once again to bring order and efficiency to the structure of the city. Paternoster Square, the bombed-out area around St. Paul's, was subject to what was known as comprehensive redevelopment. The narrow lanes of Paternoster Row and Queen's Head Passage were entirely replaced by raised walkways and office blocks of concrete and glass. But after a 40-year delay, these modern structures are giving way to London's ancient will. The spirit of the city is reasserting itself. After decades of controversy, the glass and concrete have been torn down, and the line of the ancient streets is being recreated. This is Queen's Head Passage once again, leading to the new Paternoster Row. The narrow lanes of the Roman and medieval street plan have emerged again. Despite all efforts to destroy or improve this city, its ancient imperatives prevail. Its streets, lanes and passages re-emerge again and again after every assault. Everywhere in this city, the past and the present are locked in a mysterious embrace. As a Londoner, I never feel completely alone. All around us is the familiar presence of millions of human lives which have come and gone. We are part of some larger process, part of a pattern that rises up through the centuries. When I was a schoolboy, I fell under the spell of this place. I never understood why it was so soothing and so peaceful, but I was drawn to it, time after time. I know now that Fountain Court has echoed with the sound of water for at least 300 years. Its softness and serenity have been experienced by many generations. London is blessed as well as cursed. Its continuity is the continuity of life itself.